We take a look at a possible reason why Naomi hasn't returned to WWE. Also, scrapped plans for WWE Championships have been revealed. And we have an update on a Raw superstar's absence. More on that in this video. Hello everyone, Jack and Ross back again with the morning news. There's a reason, maybe being revealed, why Naomi hasn't yet returned to the WWE, because it was reported last month by Brian Alvarez that she was expected to return to WWE, and this all sparked speculation at the time because it was before the Royal Rumble. Then Fightful Select reported that one higher up in WWE was very confident she'd be back in the company, but we still haven't seen her return yet, Ross.
Yes, and the big news today comes from a virtual signing for Golden Ring Collectibles done by bloody Ariana Andrew, otherwise known as Cameron from the Funkadactyl days, who revealed a possible reason as to why Naomi has not been back to the company, saying she's recovering from shoulder surgery. I want her to answer the question for herself. I know she's recovering from shoulder surgery.
I love that. She's gone. I don't want to speak for her, but she's recovering. She's definitely recovering.
I know this lady on a personal level, but I don't want to speak for her. But I know her, so that's a good thing for me.
And she's recovering from shoulder surgery. Yeah. Now, obviously, if or when Naomi comes, first of all, we wish her a full recovery if this is true. But also, if she is going to come back soon, or in the near future at least, that's big news because we haven't seen her since her and Sasha Banks or Mercedes Moné walked out of the. And said Moné like you did. Mercedes Moné walked out of the company.
Last May, wasn't it?
Was it that?
April, May,
feels
sort
like
of
about
time,
5 years ago now. So yeah, we'll all have to keep an eye on what's happening there. Cameron also claimed during this same interview that she'd gotten a call from WWE last year to return to the company because there were plans for both her and Naomi to win the tag team title.
That would have been very interesting to watch. I think people would have been behind Naomi after sort of the reason she walked out was because of the women's tag team titles and how they were booked and how they were being utilised and just sort of being shunted to one side. But Cameron getting in on the title picture.
I'm not trying to doubt Cameron, but she's not been very much in the spotlight over the past few years. She turned up on AEW once in the early days of AEW.
And she didn't poo the bed, so to speak, on that appearance. But you look at the pantheon of the ladies wrestlers.
Yeah.
Or maybe that would be the point, the fact that the kind of Eva Marie heat from back in the day.
Or it could have been like, maybe Naomi has no one to turn to. Oh wait, it's her old friend.
Funk is on a roll.
And
there's no stopping them now.
Apparently, according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, WWE are very high indeed on a certain NXT star. Me and Ross specialise in NXT, so we're very interested in this.
We are doctors of NXT. She skateboards, she surfs, she likes the NXT women's roster because it's just like the waves in the ocean. Every single one is different. Her words, not mine. It's Sol Rucker.
Yes, Sol Rucker, whose real name's cooler than her ring name. Her real name is Calix Hampton.
Just like the shells.
Right, yeah. Spoiler alert, she won her match on last night's show, defeating Elektra Lopez, who I think is someone who, at least until last night, is presented as higher than her on the ladder. So yeah, that's a good win for her. But yeah, Ruka joined WWE as a member of the March 2022 group of Performance Center recruits and started really catching the eye of the wrestling world with her finisher, like a flipping cutter off the second row.
Top whatever, it's up there, tie. But I think a lot of eyebrows were raised when they saw the news came out last year of WWE changing the hiring policy to just like athletes, collegiate people, and all these fantastic athletes. But she's like the leading example of why it's a good thing, because I don't think she had any experience in professional wrestling before she signed for NXT, but she's amazing. Considering she signed like a year ago, the stuff she can do is,
she's really, really good for her level of experience. Similar to maybe not quite as good yet, obviously, but similar to the story of Bianca Belair, who's admitted that she wasn't a wrestling fan. She was just a freak athlete, just good at everything. And now that's her gimmick, which is the best at everything. More matches have been added to NXT Roadblock, the final bump in the road before WrestleMania weekend, and Stand and Deliver. The big new match that's been added is a grudge match, Ross, between two former friends.
It's the basic one herself, JC Jane, taking on Gigi.
What do you mean?
It's her era, Jack. It's her time.
They gave her a very generic promo.
All about me now.
Yeah, she's
101. Heel promo after split. But she's taking on Gigi Dolan. Did you see Gigi Dolan's promo? I've not seen it yet.
I've not watched all of it yet. I've seen clips and it's emotional by the looks of it. Gigi Dolan came back. Well, she came back last week to attack JC Jane. She spoke this week after doing so and talked emotionally about her background, her struggles and her past and her time in Toxic Attraction as well, and then announced that she will face JC Jane at Roadblock. Also set for the show, Now, this is a curious one. A 6-man tag team match between the Creed brothers and NXT champion Bron Breakker teaming with them. He's not a member of the Diamond.
I mean, it just sets up a return for Roddy Strong, surely, from purgatory.
Oh, wow.
Where's he been?
They're going to take on the trio of Jinder Mahal and Indus also... After Damon Kemp denied reuniting with the Diamond Mine members. I don't know what that means.
Now, full disclosure, I've not seen last night's NXT, so I've got no idea what that means.
Oh.
It's currently 9 a.m. here in Newcastle upon Tyne.
Well, I'll find out what that is.
This is the wrestling news, where you find out all of the wrestling news.
Well, it's going to be the Creed brothers and the Creed brothers and Bron Breakker versus Jinder Mahal and Indus. There we go. That's the match.
That's the news.
And also, Shawn Michaels has agreed to appear on the Grayson Waller Effect.
Now, I was struggling to sleep last night, so I was just having a little peruse of Twitter, and I ruffled in my bed. So I did when Shawn Michaels, the sexy boy, goes on Twitter and says, "Well, I'm all about making NXT about the stars of today," in one tweet, and then he replies the utter poo house saying, "Well, I'll be on the show next time. The show I book myself, I'll be booking myself in place of one of these stars I allegedly give a poo about."
Do you think you'll face Grayson Waller at WrestleMania weekend?
Surely not. I know Grayson Waller uttered the famous phrase that'll go down in folklore for professional wrestling historians as "I am Mr. Stand and Deliver, you are Mr. WrestleMania," and that's the tagline itself there. Do you not think?
Oh, yes, it
but
is.
It can't.
No,
I mean, we're seeing Omos versus Brock Lesnar, so anything's possible.
They can physically do it. I think it would be huge if Shawn Michaels came back. Maybe last year he looked at Austin and what he did with Kevin Owens and thought,
and if you are Shawn Michaels, you don't want your last match to be that one in Saudi Arabia.
No.
You don't, do you? So getting a good match out of Waller getting a good match out of him is a better way to go out.
Fraser's got a theory upstairs.
Of course he has.
Yeah, he said it like this. What do you think? He leaned back in his chair. He swiveled around and went, "What do you think's going to happen? Do you think he's going to bring in Dragon Lee?" I was like, even if not Dragon Lee, he could bring in sort of a stand-in for himself.
It's a perfect setup as well, because he could say, like, "I had the hand in training one famous professional wrestling dragon," hinting at Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, "but he's busy, so he is the next best dragon."
Potentially.
Lee.
Match is already announced for the show as well. Roxanne Perez versus Meiko Satomura for the NXT Women's Championship. I've just seen the typo here. Andrew Chase. It's Andre Chase versus Joe Gacy in a singles match. And Dijak versus Tony D'Angelo in a jailhouse street fight, as we learned last week.
I'm so intrigued by that concept.
The jailhouse street fight?
It's a jailhouse street fight.
It makes no sense.
It makes two different things.
Yeah. And finally, we have an update on a Raw superstar's absence as of late. According to Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, he's been talking about Matt Riddle.
Yeah, Riddle has not been back, says Dave Meltzer. That's the end of the... No, it's not really. He's been out of rehab for a long time. His suspension has been over for almost a month now, 4 weeks. So maybe that they've just decided not to use him for Mania and not do anything with him, or maybe they just don't want to invest in him. I presume he'll be back, but when he left, they made the point of he was going to be gone for 6 weeks, and we're about 11 or 12 weeks now. That's an irrelevant point for me, because that was a storyline thing, the 6 weeks. When you've got a real life implication like that, it's like you take as much time as you need, don't you?
I didn't realise 6 weeks was just storyline. Fair enough.
I got the impression it was storyline, because they said it was... Who else was injured for 6 weeks around the same time? It was a lady on the roster. I can't remember.
But yeah, he was written off by an attack from Solo Sikoa, but it was in real life for him to go to rehab. If this is true, what Meltzer's saying, in that he's out of rehab, that's surely good news, at least. And yeah, hopefully he's doing all right. We wish him well. We'll see him if and when they bring him back. Thank you very much for watching this news video. We'll be back with more news later on, hopefully, and leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments section down below. I've been Jack, this has been Ross, and we'll see you very soon.